Hey everyone, and welcome back to the live stream. Happy to be with you guys for another great day of discussing all things medical coding with career advice, certifications, study plans. I have lots of study. Have you guys seen the study plans that I've got? Now I've got a 3-month study plan, and some people are like, I got a lot of time. I want to do this faster. And I'm like, okay, let me put out the 6-week study plan. And cool stuff going on. I don't know if you guys caught me on the revenue cycle roundup earlier this week with Bertram. If you didn't, man, I got that on the replay. You can go ahead and check that out. And putting together some clips from that as well. But I can see comments are already pouring in, so let's just go ahead and get started with today's stream. Hey everyone, and happy Friday. If you're new here, I'm Victoria Mull. I'm a medical coder, auditor, educator, and content creator. And I'm going to be live streaming today, answering some questions and talking with my audience. Now, some things I want to mention regarding the live stream. So I don't know if you guys noticed, I brought my podcast back. If you haven't had a chance yet to check out some of those interviews that I've done so far with Ray Jimenez, the Senior VP of Products and Services from the AAPC, and Beth Schleeper. Those have been amazing. Next on the list is Shannon DeConda, the president of NAMUS. She's going to be on the podcast on Monday. But because I'm doing so much content, we might be switching the live stream over to bi-weekly. So essentially, I post the podcast on Monday, and then since I already did a podcast that week, I don't also live stream that week. We're gonna see. It depends on what the audience needs and wants and how active we're gonna be, because I'm starting to see I'm already up to 51 people watching the live stream right now. So comments coming in. Looking forward to starting the AAPC CPC course. That's awesome. I'm excited for you too, Abby. Hey, so if you're new here or if you are a fan of the stream, don't forget to hit that like button, because it does help with the algorithm. Make sure that all of the people who need the support, it connects them to the live stream. So it lets us know that this is a good stream and that they should check it out. Now, some big news. I don't know if you guys followed up on LinkedIn. About 2 weeks ago, I posted on LinkedIn and said, hey, if this post gets 1,000 likes, I will make a video where I teach evaluation and management coding using sock puppets. And that video yesterday did hit 1,000 likes. So I will be starting scripting soon of how I am going to make a juvenile friendly sock puppet, I guess, very broken down evaluation and management video using sock puppets. I don't want to give too many details about it, because I have noticed, if you guys haven't noticed, and I'm sure you wouldn't because you're not looking at things as closely as I do, but you know how that article came out in the Journal of AHIMA a few weeks ago about the social media stars of medical coding? Ever since that article came out, there's been this little like uptick of people that I think are trying to kind of replicate what I do. So not to gatekeep, but I'm not going to give out too many details yet about that sock puppet video, because I don't want someone stealing my idea now and they put out a sock puppet video before me, but it's not as good as the one I'm going to put out. So anyway, I'm excited to work on the sock puppet video. So that's coming up. The other thing, hey, guess what came in the mail today? 2024 ICD-10-CM books are shipping from the AAPC. I just posted a TikTok about this. I thought for sure that I would get my ebook. Like, I thought my ebook would come in August, because one of the whole things that they were promoting about the ebooks is, oh, well, since we don't have to send an ebook to a publisher and have it all printed up and shipped out, we should have them done sooner. But I think they're making so many updates. My hope is they're making so many updates to the ebook this year that it's taking a little longer, because I haven't gotten my ebooks yet. Have you guys gotten your ebooks yet? I got my paper book, but not my ebook. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? But If you haven't gotten the updates yet to ICD-10-CM, I have a video that I just published recently that I cover the updates in about 30 minutes. There was like a third of them compared to what there was the prior year, so I really didn't feel the need to go over an entire hour. But 30 minutes, just what was updated in ICD-10-CM, a couple of tweaks to the guidelines, some changes in regards to a lot of foreign body codes, because we've had a lot of children that we want to track that are taking marbles and magnets and pieces of toys and putting them in their mouth and putting them in their ears and up their nose. So there's a lot more codes for tracking specifically for those. Other than that, not a huge year for ICD-10-CM. Let's get into some question. Yeah, honestly, not a lot of changes. There was what, 300 and some odd new codes, 25 that a lot of people are reporting as deleted, because I think it just went out as deleted and everyone copied and pasted that and said, yeah, there's 25 deleted codes, but more so that they were converted to parent codes, meaning they need an additional character. So they're no longer, I guess, valid. I don't know if I want to say they were deleted, but they need an additional characters now, and then the foreign body codes. Do I have a secret for dealing with the snowfall of fringies? Thankfully, there wasn't a ton this year of the snowfall, at least with the ICD-10. CPT, I feel like, is always worse. But I have a tiny hand vac, and I will sometimes vacuum them out with my little hand vac first. I didn't this time only because said hand vac, my office space is in a basement of an old town hall, right? So because of that, there's a lot of little buggy critters that crawl around. So every now and then there's like a thousand legger or a spider that comes. And what I do is I take my little mini vac, and I suction them up, and then I close the lid on it, and then I set it aside until I'm confident that they are no longer with this world. And I wasn't sure if I had sucked up any spiders recently, so I didn't want I didn't want to open it up to suck out my ICD-10-CM book because I wasn't sure if something would jump out at me. Um, yeah, Anita. So Anita's asking about ICD-11. So here's the thing. Our transition from I-9 to I-10 took forever. I think we were one of the last, if not the last countries to adopt ICD-10. Don't even worry about ICD-11. ICD-11's already been out for 2, 3 years now, I think. And honestly, I don't foresee any movement on that. No one's really made much commentary, suggestion, even haven't even seen dates thrown out as far as like, yeah, we're thinking maybe by 2030, like nothing. So ICD-11 is not something to even start considering yet. Hold on, my fiance is asking me if I would like a cupcake. Yes, don't tell my personal trainer I said that. I would like a cupcake. Um, so yeah, let me guys know what you think about not live streaming on the weeks that I have podcasts coming out, because I have a lot of plans of things I need to get together and a lot of videos that I need to get done. My amazing editor, I don't know if you guys have picked up on how amazing the editing has been the past few months. I got this fantastic editor, Melanie. She is phenomenal. She's getting married though next month. So I'm trying to like keep ahead of all of the videos and stuff, because I don't want Melanie to be stressing about editing my videos when she's getting married, right? Quick check the cupcake menu for. I worked out today. I deserve a cupcake. What cupcake should I get today, guys? Okay. Ooh, Heath Bar, pumpkin, fluffernutter, and we've got the regular snickerdoodle. Okay, I feel like Heath Bar is probably what I'm going for. They're the best cupcakes. Or oh, they got pumpkin too. Pumpkin's good. I can't resist a good cupcake. Um, I want to take an online course, and I would like to know the best one to prepare me for the certification exam. So, seriously, look at these. Hold on. This is what's going on my second screen right now. Cupcakes. So good. But yeah, so one of the things I can tell you as far as certification exams, right? Is I have a partnership with Preppy. So what I think a lot of people don't understand is, they say, Victoria, why aren't you teaching the curriculum? There's way too much volume. The amount of people that would like me to teach them are far surpassing the capacity of what I would be able to do, without having to get an entire team of people behind me, and I am not good at managing people. So what I did was I looked out there, worked with some people, and I said, "Hey, what's a budget-friendly program that's gonna cover all the bases, and it's gonna offer some things that, like, I can't offer: 24-hour support, a college certificate of completion, externships," because, if you watch the channel, I harp on, like, externships, while it's not 100% needed, it gives you that little bit of leg up because you get some experience. So an externship they're hard to find, they're hard to come by, but I found a program that does offer them. So you can go over to, if you want to find out more, medicalcodingmasterclass.com. That is the free career masterclass that I put together. So you can sign up, you can find out, like, what are the good certifications, what is your salary expectations as a medical coder, um, how long is this gonna take? And the program that I endorse is called Preppy. It's 100% online. They offer financing options. There are options that you could, possibly get a free laptop with your program. Some of them, they don't, like, ship overseas and stuff, so I always say possibility of having a free laptop. It is a Chromebook, and then, they offer you a certificate of completion from a college, and they give you an externship. So, Preppy, that's what I recommend personally. And I will disclose that, yes, I do have, affiliate relationships with them because I do send them all of my viewers, and we have a very good partnership that if anyone ever says, like, "Hey, I can't get a hold of someone there. I can't, um, I didn't get a book," like, I contact them and they're right on top of it. And usually they're like one step ahead. They're like, "Yeah, we already took care of this. We saw the comment." Let me just switch over because I forgot to do something, I think, on my side here. Yeah, medicalcodingmasterclass.com. That's where you can find the free career masterclass. Let me just hold on. I have all of the material to study, but where can I see specifically how to read and code op notes? So I have a playlist on the main channel of case studies you can check out there. And there are a few videos aside from mine that do offer, breakdowns of how to code an op note. And I think I have some as well, but sometimes it's just helpful to see it from a couple different perspectives because there might be a plan that works better of how to attack them than what I offer and so forth. So yeah, fix that on my back end. Gina says I am almost finished with the AAPC CIC course. It would be my third certification. That's congratulations to you and hats off because I've been telling myself for I don't even know how long that I'm gonna learn PCS, and I put it on my calendar every week of my to-dos and still have not done it. I've gotten through, like, the very brim basics, and that CIC, yeah. I think it's so valuable, and I talk about this in a video I have coming up, where if you have some experience doing professional fee coding and inpatient coding, like, that's amazing because there's gonna be a lot more opportunities that will open up to you because of that. Stacy, yeah, so that might be right up your alley. I have my CPC, what's the best way to earn a cert for inpatient coding? The AAPC has one, and the AHIMA version is the CCS. More employers are taking the CIC. AHIMA has traditionally been more known for inpatient coding. The problem is if you get certified with AHIMA and AAPC, now you have two membership dues you have to pay, and you have two sets of CEUs that you need to keep track of. So I don't think there would be a problem with just going through the AAPC and getting the CIC. I don't know about anyone else, or if my brain just works kind of funny, but every time I go on the AAPC website, which they just updated again, and now I'm like, "Oh, where's all my things?" Every time I see them, market DocuCon, my brain keeps reading it as Donkey Kong. So every time I see it, I think Donkey Kong. So this to me says Donkey Kong, the ultimate CDI extravaganza. Like my brain doesn't want it to go. As soon as I see that I'm like Donkey Kong. It says Donkey Kong, but it doesn't say Donkey Kong. Anyway, certification. Please tell me that someone else is reading that as Donkey Kong. Certifications. So if you go to all the different certifications on the AAPC website, there is one, they list them all. Okay. Yeah, the CIC is the Certified Inpatient Coder. So you have to get a PCS book in order to take that one too. I'm not sure if I think those are already available too. So if you want to go ahead and get the 2024 PCS book and get started on that, and keep an eye out for those specials. If you want to wait even till sometimes like they have Black Friday deals. So maybe if you're willing to wait another like month or two, they might have a Black Friday special where maybe you like get the training and you get the exam included. They have like those type of things around that time. Is medical coding a good career in Canada? That's funny. I've been getting a lot of inquiries lately about Canada and Ireland. One of the things you have to consider is that the CPC exam, right, is really good for coding services rendered in the United States because the CPC tests on ICD-10 CM, which is the clinical modification. They don't use CM in Canada. They use ICD-10 CA. So it's basically the same but different. So like a CPC isn't really good for coding for services in other countries because there's different code sets used. Um, as far as medical coding, I know it does exist in Canada. To what capacity and how much they are in need of medical coders, that I'm really not familiar with. AHIMA just updated their site too. Can't find tokens. Yeah. So AHIMA reached out to me recently, just the other day, in regards to some appreciation of the micro-credential video that I did. Gemma's asking if you take the CIC exam, can you use the books a year prior? Yes. So the prior year book rule applies to all AAPC exams. So with any AAPC exams, they update by calendar year. So in 2023, you can use the 2023 books or 2022 books. I wouldn't suggest it because of how much like E&M has changed in that year. But for 2024, you can use your 2024 books, or you can still use the 2023 books. So the current calendar year or prior calendar year. Another thing I should probably bring up. So as I mentioned, I've got my 2024 ICD-10-CM book, right? So if I'm going for an exam tomorrow, for whatever certification to the AAPC, I cannot use this book. I wouldn't want to use this book either. Reason being is this is the 2024 book, right? So even though the codes are going to change October 1, the exams themselves don't change until January 1. So none of those new codes are going to be in the exam until January 1. And honestly, it's not like, I mean, okay, imagine you're the AAPC and you have 3,000 questions in the exam bank, right? You're not going to rush to add 100 new questions on the hundreds of codes that change for that year, right? You're just going to look and see, okay, what's the least I have to do of these 3,000 questions we already have? Are there any that we need to change the codes because now they need an additional character? Are there ones that we have to modify slightly because they were expanded on? Like they're only going to change what they have to change. They're not going to add 500 new codes to the database just because there's some new codes, right? So uh, always a little bit of a risk assessment with what year's books you want to bring. I know a lot of people too like to write a lot of notes in their books. We've seen, what do they call them? The BAT technique, the Chun technique. There's something else that is essentially the same thing, but they scrambled up the letters or changed them or whatever. But some people, they might be notating their book right now. and planning to test in January. So they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have to rewrite all of those notes in their books. That's a personal evaluation you kind of have to do. Any suggestions on taking a certification that does not involve coding? I have been a coder for many years and like to try something different in the field. Yeah, so if you're already an AAPC member, there's a few non-coding certifications that they do offer. Compliance is the first one that comes to mind. The billing exam, I think, does have some coding aspects to it. Let's see what we got. So there's compliance officer. There's physician practice manager, which doesn't, I think, involve a lot of, if I remember correctly, I don't think it actually involves any real coding because you're not allowed to bring code books to that exam. So they might ask you a question about like what is ICD-10-CM and CPT and how it works in the revenue cycle, but not like how to code things. Let's see what else we have. I know it's the scribes. I don't know. My Outlook has been acting crazy lately, where it doesn't want to. It's just like the links no longer work now. Coding. I'm trying to think what else we got. I know we got that scribe certification, I think, up and running not too long ago. Yeah, certified professional medical scribe and the approved instructor. CR I know has been pretty popular lately, which with the HFMA. But I think that might involve a little bit of coding concepts. That one's been very popular. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, if anyone else has suggestions, let me know in the chat. Oh, that's the million-dollar question, right? Like right after, how do I get experience? How do I obtain Epic certification? From what I understand, and I've tried reaching out individually to Epic, and asking them if someone could come on the channel, if I would fly out to Epic, right? And shoot videos there if they would let me. I would pay to fly myself out there and go through the certification or whatever. From what I understand, they really don't do that unless you are working with a facility that has the Epic system. And in that case, that's when you get the invitation to get Epic certifications. Again, I can't get clarification from them, and I don't know a lot of contacts at Epic anymore. I haven't had any for the past couple years, but I've tried reaching out to them. If anyone knows who I can contact and start showing up and knocking down their doors, I'd be happy to do it. Newly certified CPC-A, struggling to find an entry-level position. Is it best to try and add another credential to my name while I'm applying to jobs and waiting to hear back? If so, what credential would you recommend? So it depends on your interests. So first thing I'm thinking is right around now, we're going to start seeing a influx of risk adjustment positions opening up. So a lot of them are contracts, some of them may be temporary or temp to hire, but we're heading into risk adjustment season. So in that case, if you want to get your CRC, which a lot of it you're already going to have a fair base knowledge of because a good amount of that certification is just ICD-10-CM coding. You essentially have to learn the mastery level of ICD-10-CM coding and then what is risk adjustment, what are these quality measures. You could probably do that in a month or two and maybe be ready for some of those positions that are opening up in risk adjustment. If you want to be more well-rounded and be like, hey, I want to be able to do a lot of different stuff within the revenue cycle, you could try getting your CPB, which is the billing certification. So I would go with maybe one of those two. Nima says, I finished medical billing and coding program at college. I am now preparing for the CPC. Any advice you can give me? Yeah. So make sure you look out for review classes. Local chapters are hosting more review classes. You can sometimes find those for a very fair budget. I have a review class on contempocoding.com if you're interested in that. AAPC has them. Also, don't forget, if you have a study guide or like a step-by-step book or even the CPC books, there are oftentimes practice exams in the back of those books. So you can go through those, time yourself, give yourself an assessment of readiness. So since the CPC exam is 4 hours and it's 100 questions, try to set aside 1 hour and see if you can complete 25 questions in that time and what your score on that is. If you're getting like an 80%, you're likely ready. You're going to probably be good on the actual exam. But it'll also give you a fair assessment of, where am I? Are there areas I need to focus on? And then kind of focus your studies from now until when you take your exam on those areas where you need some improvement. So like if you're doing really good on integumentary system coding, then okay, well, I don't have to focus too much of my time studying on that. That's a good question, Ash. So what was my reasoning for choosing AAPC versus AHIMA? If you would have went with AHIMA, what would you have gone for? So when I started in medical coding, a lot of the certifications through AHIMA, you had to go through certain programs in order to sit for them. I know that's still true with like their RHIT and RHIA, but their regulations of who could sit for like a CCS or a CCSP were more strict back then than what they are now. So I don't think I even qualified to sit for any of the AHIMA exams, and they seemed so much more focused on academia and scholarly things. It was very intimidating. I really didn't want to get involved with AHIMA at that time because of that. Also, they historically have always had kind of a website that looks a little outdated, I guess. And more of the people that I worked with after I finished my schooling were AAPC people. And I was actually offered the opportunity to train for my CPC and get reimbursed for that. So that was a big part of the decision, was that was what my hospital that I was working for wanted to us to get. They wanted us to get the CPC. If I was someone who just finished schooling or studying now, and I was going to go for an AHIMA certification, I would go through the CCS. I don't think the CCA, I'm going to be honest, is worthwhile anymore because it seems like you have to take the CCA and then test all over again to get the CCS. And statistically, it looks like not even a lot of the people who have certifications through AHIMA get the CCA. And I'm not sure a lot of employers are accepting it anymore. So I think I would just go right for my CCS if I was going to get an AHIMA certification. Now, on an off topic, I wanted to mention that I have not a lot of events coming up because we're getting into fall and winter season, and I don't like to travel too much in the winter if I don't have to. But if you're interested in seeing me at any of the events that I am coming to, the NamUs conference is coming up. And that is like my favorite event of the year because I love auditing and I love connecting with people that are like so far deep into this industry that they're in like expert levels that I could only possibly dream of, right? So December 7th and 8th, Charleston, South Carolina, I will be there hanging out. It's the event of the year. I know Sonal Patel's coming. Jennifer McNamara is going to be there. Shannon Aconda, Sean Weiss is going to be there. I'm sure Scott Crafts is going. He's lovely. I'm not sure if I think I would assume Stephanie Allard is going, but the whole team at NamUs is like wonderful. The conference that they put on is like it's elevated, it's comfortable, it's just like again, it's my favorite event. I do not miss the NamUs conference, but if you're interested in going, you can get a discount by using Victoria 10 when you register over at the NamUs website. Is it namus.com? It is NamUs. NamUs.co? NamUs.co. NAMASCO. And I think the NAMUS conference website is namusconference.com. Let me drop it in the chat. That's the virtual conference. That's not the one I want, Victoria. Here we go. Yeah, namusconference.com. I'll drop it in the chat. So I will be there if you want to come and say hi and take selfies and learn risk areas, all things trending in medical auditing, AI, I'm sure they're going to be covering. It's going to be phenomenal. How many questions do you get? How many questions do you get like for, I'm sorry, I'm trying to scroll up and see if there's another part of this. Which book is more important for CPC? How many questions? The CPC exam is 100 questions and 4 hours long. Actually, let's go ahead and go over some of the stuff. Let me click my banner. Let's go over what's on the CPC exam because they do list it on the website. Let's see here. Prepare CPC. I always have fun navigating the website after they've done their update. I kind of like that they put some more of these things on the side, it seems like. I'm curious. I don't know. I know some people were saying that they were having issues with color blindness and viewing this, and it looks like they're still using the same colors. So, okay, let's see if we can find see if we can find the listing here now of what is on the CPC exam. Download the syllabus. Practice exam review. There we go. I found it. 95 questions. Oh, no, yeah, most of the questions are from the CPT book. So let's go through. Yeah, you could actually leave your HCPCS book at home. Not that I'm suggesting that you do, but you could statistically like not even show up with your HCPCS book and still pass the exam with not answering any of the HCPCS questions because there's only a few of those. Let's see here. Prepare for the exam. So that's not what I want. Where is the listing of all the stuff that's on the exam? Practice exams, areas of weakness, taking the exam. Here we go. Okay, so for the CPC exam, you're allowed to take current year or prior year, one prior year. CPT book, ICD-10, HCPCS book, you're allowed to take a calculator if you are taking it in person. You're allowed to write notes in your books and have tabs. Okay. There are 4 questions on medical terminology, 4 on anatomy, 3 compliance and regulatory, 7 coding guidelines. So they're just going to test you specifically on the guidelines themselves. 5 questions, they're just ICD-10-CM questions. There are going to be more questions that will include ICD-10-CM, but 5 of those questions are only testing on ICD-10-CM. So just focusing on ICD-10-CM, not ICD-10-CM and CPT, but just ICD-10-CM. Why are so Other than that, we have 3 questions on HCPCS, 6 questions on the 10,000 series, and then the rest of these are pretty much 6 questions each. 20,000 series, 30,000 series, 40,000 series, 50,000 series, 60,000 series, radiology, path and lab, medicine, 6 E&M, 4 on anesthesia, and then 10 cases. Now, people get confused and they say cases, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to code these from scratch. I'm going to have to read this entire operative report and just pick out what the ICD-10. The cases are still multiple choice. What the cases mean is that it's going to be a long part of a chart of an E&M case, a surgical note, something. And out of those cases, they're going to say, hey, they're going to ask you a question, what's the diagnoses for this case? What are the CPT codes for this case? They might give you multiple choices of all of them. Some of the exams, though, what they've started doing is they'll give you like one case. They'll be like, here's this one operative report. And then they'll ask you 3 or 4 questions based off of that one case. But the cases for the CPC exam are going to look a lot like the cases that you might see in the CPC prep material, if I have any of them here. I have CRC here. not CPC. Yeah, they don't have the cases. My CPC stuff is on the bookshelf on the other side of the office. But yeah, so the cases are just like what are in the study material. I might be able to actually bring them up on my bookshelf app. I think I have the digital tools. No, do not skip the ICD-10-CM book. Absolutely do not skip them. You need all 3 books in order to sit for this exam. You might even encounter some proctors that will tell you that you have to have the books, like you can't skip them. There's going to be less questions on ICD-10-CM, but you can't just skip ICD-10-CM. Is Dubai good for studying I have no idea. I've never been to Dubai. Couldn't tell you. I know how medical coding works domestically as far as how it works in India, Pakistan, Egypt, Philippines. That's not something I have enough experience in to kind of guide appropriately for that. And as far as what the market is, and as far as what work visas, that's not an area where I can really guide because I just don't have the experience with it myself. Okay, let me see if I can find some of these case studies so I can kind of show you what cases look like. I don't want to share too much of the material here. Test your knowledge. Let's see if I can find one that I can kind of, yeah. I think probably the case studies are more so in the workbook that they include, which I don't have the digital version of. But yeah, the case is basically like a larger note of some sort. Is it a good career for future? Absolutely it is. Anything worth it working in healthcare. Um, because once you're in healthcare, it's easy to transition even to other areas of healthcare, and we're always going to have jobs in healthcare. What's the difference between the AAPC and the NHA? Um, more employers take the APC credentials versus the NHA. Nothing against the NHA credentials, but if we're talking about what are employers looking for, they're looking for AAPC and AHIMA credentials. If you're interested in the future of AI and medical coding, I have several videos where I discuss that. I am taking my CPC exam soon. What is your number one tip for success? Practice, practice, practice exams. Get the practice exams from the AAPC. If you need a review course, I have a review course that includes a practice exam, so you can try those out. Really pay attention to the ones that you're not getting correct. Analyze them, go, why did I miss this question? Look over the rationale and go, oh, you know what? Maybe there was a concept that I thought I understood, but based off of this, I don't. One of the videos that I'm hoping to make in the near future will be a video that's just, hey, you've got 1 hour before your CPC exam, and here's a 1 hour video to really quick refresh on the major top things of the CPC exam. We have 95 people on the live stream today. 95. That's insane. Don't forget, for those of you that 95 of you that are watching right now, hit that like button, and I'll make sure that I can do some. Code has an HCC adjustment. They have not talked to me in a long, long time. That's exciting. But yeah, I know they've been making some headway, so which is good to hear. Is the CPC-A credential enough to get hired? Absolutely. Let me show you some proof of that. So if we go on to like our Indeed.com, CPC, that's one of the top things employers are looking for is that CPC credential. Here we go, coding associate. They're looking for, guys, check this out. Coding specialist remote, entry-level medical coding position for CPC-A or CPC. They will take a CPC-A. That's huge. But yeah, a lot of these people, they're looking for RHIA, RHIT, CPC. I mean, they're coming up with a ton. There are over 1,300 jobs right now just on Indeed.com. So a lot of jobs in there. On 2 attempts, got 51. Can I again enroll for this exam? If you're taking it within the United States, they do not have a time frame that you have to wait in order to take it again. Basically, as many times as you want to pay the exam fee, you can take the exam. I'm not sure about AAPC Global though, so they might have some different stipulations there. Do you have anything for medical terminology like a study guide? Let me tell you, girl. Hold on one second. I'm gonna go grab it. Okay. Okay, we didn't lose anyone. Okay. So this is the book you want. This is Medical Terminology and Anatomy for Coding. This is the third edition. There's a fourth edition. The only difference, I think, between the third and fourth edition is there was maybe some code updates that in the examples they had to put in there. This is like, and I have this linked in the video description. At least I should. I hope I do. This is the best book for learning MedTerm because it speaks to coders. They have case examples that apply to like, here's how we use this in coding scenarios. It is the best book. This is the paper version. They do have an ebook version. So let me show you. Medical terminology. Oh, okay, hold on. So you can. I've been really trying to keep a lot of my books as ebooks lately. Here we go. So you can search up here, medical terminology for coding. And you can, I know it's on here somewhere. Come on. Don't make a liar out of me. Hold on 1 second. I know I've seen it before. Medical terminology for coding. Hold on. Vital source bookshelf store. See if we can find it that way. It's asking me to log in. We're not going to do that. Okay. Medical terminology and anatomy coding. There it is. So the cool thing about the ebook version is you can buy the lifetime version for $77.99, or if you're someone who's like, hey, I just want this for whatever course I'm taking and I'm going to be done with this course in like 2 months, so I don't want to deal with it after that, you can just rent it for 90 days for $27.30. So that is an option you have. I think this is one of the best resources that we have to learn MedTerm and anatomy for medical coding. So that's the one you want to get. You can also buy it on Amazon if you want the paper version. I should have a link in the description. Actually, let me quick go and check. Apologize. I don't think this one has a mute button like my other mic does, but I bought it to look aesthetic. That's what I would suggest. Medical terminology for coding. I apologize. Oh my gosh. Have you guys had this hurricane weather that's been coming through? We just had really bad rain yesterday. Here we go. I'm going to drop the link in the description for anyone who's interested in getting it on Amazon. That's not the one I wanted. What the hell are you doing? That's the NAMUS conference. Also important, the NAMUS conference. There we go. Wrestling. Ma'am, please make a video for CPT exercise. There are plenty of them on the channel, actually. Lots and lots. So what I'm going to do here, hold on, my videos. There we go. Let's go to the main channel, and I can show you about all the CPT exercises that I have. So if you go to the main channel page, this is the main channel page. This is all of the different videos. These are the most recent videos that I've done. These are after this. We get into, I think. Oh, these just go. Okay. So the playlists here. Where are they? Playlists. Come on. Wouldn't that be weird? Would you guys be interested in a medical coding ASMR channel? If you would, let me know in the chat. Playlists. So I have a whole playlist. Oh my gosh, I keep doing this every single time. There's a whole playlist. I don't know if I can go into incognito. It always shows my stuff. There we go. I don't know. But in any case, on the channel, there is a case study playlist that you can check out there that has a whole lot of CPT cases. If you're looking for anything specific and you are like, Victoria, do you have a video on this? There is over here a little searchy button. You just have to scroll over to get to it. And if you're looking for like CPT or something, you can just search for that and how to use the CPT book, CPT medical coding demonstration. I talk about modifiers, CPC review. So there's a lot of different information in there through the channel. What are the chances of getting a job as a CPC-A? Should I just go straight into Practicode HCC internship? There's lots of great chances. One of the things I want to stress with you guys is Bertram has this revenue cycle roundup, and he's really trying to hook up people with positions. That's his focus right now, and he is amazing. So, Renown, I'm going to link it below. Renown. So that you guys can hook up, because that's a live stream you're going to want to pay attention to. And he has some information about that on his website, renowntalent.com. Let's see if I can find the link for the roundup specifically. But you can get in touch with Bertram on LinkedIn, and that's what I'll do. I'll link his LinkedIn profile. And Bertram is really working on getting some of that information together to get, especially some of those newer coders into positions. Will the CRC Contempo coding course prepare me if I take through AAPC? So if you're taking the CRC course that I have available on contempocoding.com, that is to prepare you for the AAPC CRC exam. It is on demand. It is accessible 24/7. It includes the training manual through the AAPC. It does not include the exam fee. It does not include membership fee. It is just the training course. And yeah, so that does prepare through the AAPC exam. It is based off of the AAPC curriculum. So what is the AHIMA micro-credential for CRC? That they just call it the risk adjustment coding micro-credential. So if you check that on the AHIMA website, that's what they call it. The difference between the AHIMA micro-credentials and the credentials that we have with the AAPC is like when you pass risk adjustment certification with the AAPC, you get to add the CRC at the end of your name. The micro credentials, those aren't full credentials, so you don't get to like add the initials to the end of your name when you're done. I do have a whole video about those micro credentials, and I'm gonna see, since AHIMA wants to tap in and talk to me a little bit, if maybe they want to provide some information on the channel as well. So we'll see. Thinking about studying medical coding in October. What year's books should I buy? If you can get the 2024, get them. But the one thing I will caution you about is that means you probably won't be able to study until December, because those CPT and HCPCS books aren't going to be available until probably December or January. Sometimes the HCPCS books take a little while. being a medical scribe, if I learn medical coding, will it give some benefit to my career? If yes, then what? So I would say so. There are medical coders that started out as medical scribes. So if you're looking to transition into a medical coding position, I think it would be very beneficial because from what I understand, medical coding does pay significantly more than scribing, and they will find your skills that you obtained from being a medical scribe very helpful. Your ability to work with electronic medical records, your ability to work with providers can be very, very influential in the medical coding realm. What books are included in the Preppy program? Okay, so Preppy is going to give you ebooks because that's the way that we're kind of transitioning, right? We want coders that can work with ebooks, and the AAPC is piloting even using the ebooks for the exams. So there is going to be a point down the road, we don't know exactly when, but at some point, my prediction would be within the next year, but sometimes things happen. They're going to give you ICD-10-CM, CPT, HCPCS. Those are going to be ebooks. You will have the option to purchase paper books then if you need them for the exam. And then the step-by-step books as well, the Buck step-by-step books, which are the ones that I used to teach with at the tech school when I worked in medical coding education. Is there a difference in the CPC and CRC exam? Yes, a substantial difference. CPC exam is going to test you on CPT. It's going to test you on HCPCS. It's going to test you on ICD-10-CM, and it's going to test you on a little bit of compliance, a little bit of med term and anatomy. The CRC is just going to test you on ICD-10-CM, but it's also going to test you on quality measures. It's going to test you on risk adjustment, terminology on risk adjustment programs, the different insurances. It's going to test you on a lot more intense documentation, things that pertain specifically to ICD-10-CM. So, and there's different types of coding. We have our professional fee coding, we have risk adjustment coding, we have inpatient coding, we have outpatient coding. So while there is some intersections between some of those, you can't just take, for example, a CRC and be like, okay, well, you're a certified coder and we're going to put you on surgical coding, right? So there's differences there because the CRC credential isn't preparing you to learn CPT coding versus the CPC exam. Anastasia, oh my gosh, I'd be jumping for joy if I got an 84% if I was you. Yeah. If you're getting your practice test and you're doing 80% or higher, you only need a 70 to pass the actual certification exam. And those practice exams are so similar to the exam. They don't usually overlap exact questions, but let's say they have a question that's, how do you code for someone who has 17 skin tag removed? They might have another question on the actual exam that is, how do you code if someone has 7 skin tags removed, right? So it's that same concept that you're testing you on, but maybe a slight differentiation. So they're very, very good, especially the ones through the AAPC, very, very good indicator of readiness for the actual exam. In your experience, what seems to have the higher employee retention rate or satisfaction, medical coding, inpatient or outpatient coding? Trying to figure out which credential I want to pursue. That's a good question. Historically, we've kind of seen that inpatient coders tend to not leave. They tend to not leave their positions. Those inpatient coders stay in there for forever and a day, and a lot of them are the people who have been aligned with AHIMA for a long time. Those people that maybe went for their RHIT or their CCS and they've been there for a while. So that's fantastic to get into because it seems like inpatient coders tend to make a little bit higher salary as well, which might also play into that retention factor. As far as satisfaction, that's a little harder to assess. Not a lot of data that I think we have on how much we enjoy our jobs. But that does remind me that the AAPC recently sent out their emails about the salary survey. So we want to make sure that that data that we're collecting from the members of the AAPC is as accurate as possible, right? Because it's not going to do us any good if only the people who are making 80, 90, $100,000 a year and love their job are responding to that. We want everybody's feedback, including the people who can't find jobs, including the people who are working 5 jobs, right? So everyone needs to respond to that so we have a more accurate data pool. So it only takes a couple of minutes. I'll be honest with you. It really only takes a couple of minutes, but please, please, please make sure that if you got that email about the AAPC salary survey, that you complete that so that we do have as accurate information that reflects our, well, that reflects the membership pool that we have, right? Do I think it's a bad sign when an employer doesn't require a pre-employment testing for coding? I wouldn't say a bad sign. I would exercise a little bit of caution depending on the circumstances. I've had some positions where I've not, I think, been tested on coding. And then other positions where I took the exam and went, this wasn't really what you should have tested on. Um, it really could be something that you wanna think about. Um, most larger organizations are going to have some sort of assessment of at least to determine where your baseline is, right? And if we need to train a little more, or if we don't have to train as much, or if we can put you into certain certifications but not others. So yeah, that's really I would be a little cautious, but it really depends on a lot of the circumstances surrounding that. How to potentially make 6 figures. Ooh, the CIRCC. Yeah, that's the one you want to go for if you want 6 figures. Those are very valuable coders working in interventional radiology coding because that is a high dollar specialty, right? They really want to make sure you don't mess that up because that can be a lot of money lost. So that's a good one. Auditing. I'm not sure if supervisor salaries have made it into 6 figures yet. I think when I ended in management 5, 6 years ago, I was making maybe in the 60,000 range, and I made more as an auditor than I did as a supervisor, if you believe that. One of the things you can do is if you're working remotely, you aren't gonna have as much commute time, so if you wanna commit some extra time into working an additional part-time job, or contract work, because oftentimes if you're doing contract work, they might not be paying you benefits and things, so they're going to bump up your salary more. Excuse me. Yeah. I know a lot of people are looking for jobs, so again, I'm gonna drop Bertram because he has that whole roundup that's coming up that he's trying to put people into positions. Bertram's the person you want to connect with if you're looking for jobs in medical coding because he's gonna be sharing a lot of really cool information on his roundups. Definitely check that out. Leah's asking how my new office is working out. It's great. I love it here. One of the things gosh, it was like, who was I saying this to the other day? Oh, I was talking about it with Bertram. My office is a co-working space. So I have a private office downstairs, but the upstairs is like a shared workspace where there's lots of like dedicated desks. And it's so cool because I don't work with like other healthcare and medical coding people. I work with like software engineers and a TikToker and a writer, a guy who owns a company that makes graveyard websites and categorizes like where grave sites are. There's a guy who does marketing. There's a guy who does search engine optimization that comes here a lot. There's someone who owns like a scheduling type of company. Like I just work with a lot of different business. Oh, there's a travel agent, which is so incredibly helpful. So yeah, having all of these different people to bounce ideas off of, amazing. And I love working here. The office is great because there's lots of places to put lights and work in different situations and kind of sit on my couch and stuff too. So I think it's great. I love it here. Trenton saying about the CRC, I've seen it's in super high demand and they are very willing to hire at entry level to 2 years more. Yeah. So especially now when we're coming into risk adjustment season. Actually, let's take a look over at like Indeed and see what we were pulling up when we search for CRCs. Let's see. So if we go over here, CRC, let me see, CRC. We've got 208 jobs. I don't know that all of these are risk adjustment coding. Some of them are pulling up some other stuff. Customer service, oh, here we go. HCC medical coder with CRC. Cora Health is hiring. They're a good company. HEDIS professionals, yeah. Let's see what it comes up for if we just search risk adjustment coding. 208 for CRC. Risk adjustment coder. 156 jobs. So yeah, I love that. I love that they talk about the meet guidelines. Oh my gosh. Is there a specific coding certification for infusion billing? I don't think there is, but if anyone knows of any, leave them in the chat. And it's hard to believe it has already been an hour, but it is 3 o'clock, and that means it is time to say goodbye. But again, I do want to drop the information for the NAMUS conference that's coming up in December because I will be there and I love the NAMUS conference. Again, it's my favorite event of the year. And it's in South Carolina, which I hear is going to be like the HEMA? HEMA, yeah, okay. Maybe John, I don't know. Here's the NAMUS conference. Again, there is a discount if you use my code Victoria10. You'll get 10% off registration. So if you're interested in learning more about auditing or what's going on in the field of auditing, field of the legal aspects and trends going on in that field, definitely the place to be. I will see you guys next time. And until then, just keep on coding on.